back with more Has-Been Hotel redesigns, and this time finally with Adam and Lute. Shocker, I know. But seeing as y'all kept asking, and a lot of Adam x Lucifer fan art later, plus season 2, I figured why not? Now, Adam and Lute are relatively new, as there weren't designs or possible remakes of them from the Zoofobia days, and the only thing that we possibly got was from the pilot, which just showed the exterminators and possibly Adam, though it could have been another character from the Zoofobia days, since his design with the mask shared a lot of similarities with other characters, though there was an image floating around at the time of what a possible Adam and Lute looked like. I still don't know if a fan made this or a staff member, but still, I love this version of them, regardless if it was once canon or not. And when we finally got a look at Adam and Lute, I had already kind of dipped in my overall excitement for the poster drops and didn't care either way about their designs. Plus, I didn't know these characters, so I couldn't give much insight into their designs. And by the time season 1 aired and we saw them, I kind of found I didn't mind their designs all that much, other than Adam's design being a bit too plain for his more rock star personality, and hands down my only true issue was the helmet and his sleeves being a different color to his robes. Also, it's not that I hate the helmet, as I remember before a lot of the story and lore was changed, it was said that angels changed their form when going to hell and vice versa, so I always assumed the helmet was meant to hide their transformation, but seeing as how that wasn't the case anymore, and the fact Adam never took his helmet off, even in heaven, mind you, which how no one thought that was weird is beyond me, is when I started to dislike it, as now it had no real reason to look demonic, you know? But other than that, I had no real issue with Adam's robes or his color palette, since not only is it the most unique and different color palette we've gotten till the Heaven episode, it's also only 4 colors, which is a huge thing to see on any Has-Been character, plus the fact that the color is spread out really evenly and the highlight color is used really well as well, so no issues here on color palette, super surprised by that. So again, yeah, other than the helmet, I actually don't mind Adam's design. I do, however, have issues with like the overall, I guess, style of him as a whole, since a lot of people at the time couldn't tell if he was chubby, which staff members have proved he is, so yay, but at the time, you couldn't really tell, and I mostly blame that on the arms. But I also just don't like the construction of his robes too, mainly the neck and bottom half, as the neck just makes it seem like he has a giraffe-like neck, and the cut of his robe at the bottom only bothers me, because every time he's walking around, it's like gravity doesn't exist for the fabric, and it happens a lot, especially with Sarah, but yeah, that's honestly about it for me. Now, as for Lute, yeah, I also don't have an issue with her design per se. Other than, just like Adam, I don't care for her helmet, and sadly, unlike Adam, her color palette is far past the 4 to 5 colors, which, don't get me wrong, I get her fit's monochromatic, but I can still tell there's multiple shades of gray and light gray that easily could have just been the same color. Now, the uniform itself is fine on first glance, but it's really all over the place, shape and texture-wise. I mean, the neck collar, I'm assuming is meant to give off like feather mixed with chainmail, but it's the only thing that's designed that way on the entire outfit. And then we get a simple tight tunic dress thing with angel dust gloves that are pointed and not the same color as the feather chainmail thing, and then the thigh-high boots with the same style as the gloves, yet not for the belt. Like, don't get me wrong, I get that Adam probably designed the outfits and was probably going for like a sexy nun plus fake armor kind of thing, but based on his outfit and preferences, I think he could have done better, or at least designed something a little bit more rock and roll, because like, what even is this? Especially the masks, as I don't get why the mouth is so different from Adam's, or why they have one open eye X for an eye. Like, it really doesn't make sense. And as for Lute's overall face, it's fine, though it is kind of giving a little too much of Amity from the Owl House, mainly the eye color and pale skin and hairstyle. But other than just kind of being boring, she's fine. But enough about that, let's just get into the redesigns. Yay! Okay, so for Adam's redesign, I did include some biblical lore that the show backs up, Kinda. So in some of the text, it said that Adam and possibly Lilith, depending on what you're reading, were made from dust, aka dirt. And I always took that kind of literal, because clearly Adam and Lilith and even Eve weren't the basic humans we have today, as they lived longer and were born in the Garden of Eden. So for Adam's redesign, aka his body, I guess, I decided to make him darker skinned with dark spots and lines to show the levels of dust, or in this case dirt, as dust back then in the text is actually referring to dirt. So yeah, again, the darker spots and lines are to show the levels of dirt used to make him. I also made him slightly older looking. I know some of y'all were kind of expecting like a super old man since he lived so long, but again, Adam isn't exactly human, so I kind of made him look roughly 45 to 49-ish. I even used his original hair color as the gray streaks. Also, I ditched the weird 5 o'clock soul patch thing and just gave him chin hair. As for his hair, I kept it pretty close to the original style, but for a guy who's into rock music and has more of a rock star persona that to me kind of gives like 80s dad vibes, I decided to give him longer hair and more of a shag cut style. Plus, I'm just low-key tired of half the character's hair being slicked back in some way. As for overall body, yeah, I kept him chubby. Makes sense to me, honestly. I mean, you live that long and you have that many kids, you're bound to let stuff slip. In a good way. Don't get me wrong, because it does kind of make him weirdly more attractive. Anyway, facial feature wise, everything's roughly the same, though I did make the ends of his eyebrows thicker just for some variety, and gave him a chipped tooth, cause why not, and a bump at the top of his nose from it being broken when he and Lilith called it quits. Don't ask me why I did that, it's just something I thought was weirdly accurate and funny for both of them. Anyway, oh wait, almost forgot, I did rework his chin a bit. I went with a more square jawline since a lot of the characters have like oval or round shaped faces. And I know it's the style of the show, but I'm a sucker for variety, so yeah. Also, I know Adam doesn't seem the type to wear makeup, but I like to think he'd be really into guy liner. So yeah, a big reason why he has like really thick under eye line going on. Now for his outfit. I didn't want to change too much, as again, my only issue was the sleeves being a different color, and also the gradient effect, and that the design at the ends of his sleeves didn't match the sharp look of the rest of his robes. So yeah, but like I said before, the style of his arms and closed robe made it hard for people to really tell what his body type was, so I gave him an open robe jacket that's pinned open with his symbol. I also kept the double layering of his OG design, since this part here, I guess, is meant to be a top, then the whole thing being a robe, which is kind of weird. But good on Adam for wearing a skirt. However, though, I decided to rework it into a full robe that now has 2 layers similar to the original. I also kept the original pattern, aka the diamond and like hemlines. I just made the diamond stars to match with Lute, you'll see later. I also made the ends of his sleeves match the end of his robe, and I feel so much better now that I did that. Now the neck part of his robe. I decided to make it into a distressed hood to fit with his rocker personality. Honestly, a lot of the sharp lines of his original design was a great way to show his personality and style, since no one else but Sarah share the same shapes, but which is kind of why I went with a more distressed hood. However, though, I also did it so you could see his neck, and so there wouldn't be any more anatomy issues. Anyway, for the rest of the design, I just gave him shoulder armor with spikes and feathers underneath to give off commander vibes. I also gave him stoles to show more religious inspiration, but also cause he's kind of above the girls, and in a sense they could be like his flock. I also added golden rib markings on his robe, since that's his main story, or the story he's most known for. Plus, as messed up as it was since in the original story they took his rib from him while he slept, I do think Adam would have like kind of mixed feelings about it, but at the end of it would kind of see that moment as metal as fuck. As for his actual outfit, I originally was just gonna do like a jumpsuit, but my brain kept telling me there's no way Adam would wear one, because then how would he go to the bathroom? So I kind of just gave him a white tank top and distressed lounge pants, or what my boyfriend likes to call rave punk pants. I also decided to make him barefoot, as I imagine since Adam never actually left the garden, since in the show he didn't eat the apple. So show Adam didn't have to go through what biblical Adam had to go through. So he probably never experienced pain or discomfort, and since he's in heaven now, it probably doesn't even matter if he wears shoes or not. Then, like fan service. Now, color. Okay, so while I do like Adam's original colors, I kind of wanted to go with a more warmer color palette. And while I do love yellow, I'm a sucker for more golden orange tones. Plus, the angels in the balcony of season 2 just look so pretty, and I couldn't help but get inspired by them. Plus, with his skin tone being more warm, I figured it was a safe bet. So I made his original white robes more light yellow, made the hemlines a soft gold yellow, and used a darker, more muted gold as the highlight color for his armor, pendant, rib markings, belts, and eyes. Also, I did add another color, as I must be blind since Adam technically has 5 colors, which is still a good thing, so I don't feel too bad I wasn't able to get it down to 4, but I needed a color to break up some overlapping and went with the color I used for his face markings, and my rule of 3 color is this dark brownish color that I used for his hair and also his gloves, stoles, and pants. Also, do keep in mind that the color count I keep bringing up is when he has his helmet on, so ignore the extra colors without it. Also, I wasn't too sure if I wanted to give Adam a helmet, as other than the actual fight between the hotel and heaven, we don't hear Adam mention or see him killing sinners. So I kind of wonder if he just watches everything Hunger Games style, which makes me confused on why he would have one if he doesn't do anything. Plus, if he's so into himself and people knowing who he is, why does he wear it constantly and not show his face more often? But to keep with the whole commander thing, I went with a more biker helmet with the design. Mainly, I just gave him a spiked mohawk to match his shoulder armor and a cross-like front marking just because. And that's about it. Oh, wait. I did give him some gold leaves in his hair, again as a way to show he was made from dirt, and now after dying, the leaves grow gold. But he does pluck them out every once in a while because they're kind of irritating. I also made his halo gold, since again, there isn't much division on who's a winner and who's a bio angel. So for this redesign, and redesigns possibly in the future, bio angels will have white halos made from light, while human angels have gold. Also, I simplified his halo a little bit, as I really hate the floating diamond parts, so now it's just a solid line, and you'll see why when we get to Lute, which, let's do that now, actually. Okay, for Lute's redesign, I did sprinkle some reimagined ideas in, since like the female cast members in Hell of Hazbin Hotel, I find the angelic designs of the angels lacking. I get Sarah and Emily have angelic forms, which I'm very confused on why they hide them all the time, but seeing all the bio angels, and yes, again, I'm counting Lute and Vaggie as bio angels, since in season 1 and season 2, Adam and Vaggie admit that Adam named her and possibly all the other girls. So I'm gonna assume the army was made for Adam specifically. But yeah, seeing all the bio main cast angels look so human versus the background angels disappoints me greatly. So for Lute's redesign, I made her a regular old angel, bottom of the hierarchy type, since she's more battle based and serves under Adam. But to show that she is a bio angel, I made her, in a sense, out of light, like pre-molded clay in a way. Because I kind of like to think that Adam had some say in what the girls looked like in terms of how humans, since the angels in Hazbin Hotel seem to be more bird-like, and I'm gonna guess here, she was the first made, since her name's Lute, which could have 2 meanings, aka her being a lieutenant, or Adam's favorite instrument, since a lute is kind of similar to a guitar. So yeah, that's kind of what makes me think she was the first. So in some weird way, she did come out less human, aka I took her nose away, made her hair and skin the same color, shaped the hair we do see into feathers, even gave her feathers under her eyes. She now even has tail feathers. The rest is all pretty much human, other than her claws. Also, side note, no worries, I am gonna redo Vaggie. sometime soon, so don't worry about that. Also, as you can see, I made her line art a gray-blue color, as it really bugs the crap out of me that she has black outlines when everyone in heaven has pale outline colors. And yes, I'm aware of Emily and Sarah's and Adam's black lips and eyebrows and other certain spots, which did not need to be black, as it just breaks the illusion that they're angels and different from the sinners, and that this is their style. So yeah, that's why Lute gets dark gray outlines, and see how other it makes her? Mwah. I mean, her Gabriel version had the same kind of outline work, so why they didn't keep it is beyond me. Oh, also, I did make her a tiny bit buffer. Nothing too crazy, but like a more wider chest and leaner legs. Mainly because I've noticed that the angels fly more than they walk. So I imagine her legs are more toned yet thin, and her chest a little bit bigger because of the amount of flying that she does. Anyway, outfit. Okay, so while I did say that Adam probably designed the outfit for the girls, I wanted to do something different for Lute, as she is technically the lieutenant, so I kind of mixed like Joan of Arc's armor with an actual exterminator's suit, which is just a bodysuit, but I feel it fits with the name. Anyway, I gave the bodysuit short, large sleeves with a slit on the side as a nod to the typical bell sleeves everyone has in heaven, but due to being a fighter, it's shorter for mobility, but I did add the star pattern Adam wears to show they're connected. The A on her chest is also a hint to their connection, but more of a selfish Adam thing. Now for the armor, I went with a gorget styled chest piece with a higher neckline, and for the shoulder armor, I went more fantasy and did like a bulk shoulder style, since regular shoulder armor isn't as fun and is a little more flat. Also, her gloves are now officially armor as well, which is made from angelic steel, so she could literally punch you to death if she wanted, and in a weird way, it kind of helps make the fight scene with Baggy make more sense, since during their fight, they were getting hurt by regular things that technically shouldn't have been able to do that. Anyway, her boots are also now armor with star-like knee braces with gold stars painted on the front of her armored boot. And lastly, I reworked the original belt into a simple gold sash belt with a star pin to hold her sword. Now, as for her mask, I mostly just got rid of the horns and gave her this more cornet nun hat shape, since the design kinda looks like horns, but was a style worn by nuns, so like a fun middle ground. Plus, now without the horns, it gives much needed room to their halo. I really did not like the halo and horn combo, it was too crowded. Other than that, the helmet is pretty much the same, but no X over the eye. I think that style would only show up if they were locking on to a target in hell, since we see Adam do like blasts of light, or for angels who use like bow and arrows, or, you know, like something that makes more sense for why they have basically the sharpshooter symbol. Anyway, color. So I already explained why she's as pale as she is, and while being completely the same color would have been fun, I still wanted her to stand out, so I went with light grays and more blue tones, as I didn't want to use anything black or that close to it. So this dark gray blue is her main color, the light gray armor is to help with overlapping, and the muted gold is her highlight color. And I know technically Lute's highlight color is red because she wears the sinner's blood on her, but one, the rule Sarah gave them was not to reveal the extermination day, so her just walking around with sinner blood on her is borderline crazy. And two, I didn't want to use red. That's Hell's color. So yeah, muted gold, which by the way is due to Lute not being that high up on the hierarchy, and cause she's super close to falling. As for her wings, I just reshaped them a bit and colored them pretty similar to the original, just took the stripes off for obvious reasons. Oh, also her makeup. Now I know a lot of characters have different like eyeshadow colors and makeup styles, but it all is like within the same tone family, like grays, light whites, Lute's included, and I didn't want to do that. So yeah, I gave her gold eyeshadow as like a small hint to her having eyes for Adam. Her eyes are also colored similar to Sarah's, as again, she's not human and I wanted some connection to Sarah, for the obvious reason that Sarah and Adam are the whole reason that Lute and Baggy even exist, so Yeah, so yeah, and that's about it. Hands down, so happy with this design. Like, yeah, it is really different, but she looks so badass and crazy cold and otherworldly, like angels are kind of meant to make us feel. So I am like so happy with how she came out. And Adam's design. I am very happy with Adam's design as well. Anyway, next video will be probably another first thoughts on the next 2 episodes, then maybe Emily and Sarah, as I'm gonna do all the characters of Haunted Hotel in one sitting. Maybe. I might cut them in half and then include Annabelle, but yeah, look forward to that. Also, we have 2 members to scream at today. Eyeless Andrea and Tess Axolotl. Welcome to the madness. Also, thank you to Jungle Batch 2139 for the super thanks on my Hazbin Hotel Season 2 impressions video, and big thank you to Forfeit 10 for the super thanks on the same video and my Zestiel and Mimsy redesign video. Y'all should watch those, by the way. I hear they're really good. On to the sleepy wall you go. Okay, I am so sorry, y'all. My printer finally died. I knew it was gonna die, but I held out hope it could last one more round. And my roommate forgot to print them at work yesterday. Again, so sorry. Y'all will be added to the wall, but at a later date. But still, though, thank you for your support. It means so much. So, again, sorry. Also, thank you to the other members. You have my whole heart. Everyone else, please remember to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Follow me on my socials right here, and if possible, hit that join button or super to join the Board of Teeth. It really helps out the channel and me. I hope you all have a super fantastic day, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!